Hey guys, Drew here. Real quick, as you can tell, there's a lot of talk about Christmas. This episode was recorded before Christmas. You guys are an intelligent audience, so I figured you'd pick it up, but figured I'd say something anyway. Anyway, very excited to have Rick Casner on the podcast talking about SDI's new certificate, Firearms Technology Handgun Specialist program. So excited, and I hope you enjoy.
Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Range is hot.
Lock and load. It's time for the Gun Rack with your hosts, Joey and Drew.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gun Rack, Sonoran Desert Institute School of Firearms Technology's official podcast. I am Drew Poplin here with you today, and we are nearly at Christmas. Very exciting. Very excited to see some family, and I've been enjoying the Christmas movies this year. It kind of came out of the blue. I feel like this year's gone by so quick that, 1 second it was Halloween, and then I blinked. Next thing I know, boom, we're here at Christmas. So we hope each and every single one of you guys listening has a wonderful holiday this year. As you can tell from the title, we have program chair of the School of Firearms Technology, Rick Casner, on the podcast with us today. We're going to talk a little bit about SDI's new program in firearms technology, the Certificate in Firearms Technology Handgun Specialist. So very excited, very grateful that Rick has decided to come on and talk a little bit about it. I figured he would be one of the best sources that we could go to find out more about this program. Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about SDI. SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute, is an online school that helps students learn the skills and techniques that they'll need to be successful in the firearms and unmanned technology industries. SDI is accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, the DEAC, and currently we offer 3 programs in firearms technology. We have the Associate of Science in Firearms Technology, the Certificate in Firearms Technology, Gunsmithing, and finally, our brand new offering, the Certificate in Firearms Technology Handgun Specialist program. So if you want more info about all of our courses, all of our program offerings, go to our website. That's www.sdi.edu, and you can find all you need to know about them. But for even more than that, we have Rick Casner on the podcast. Rick, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing good. Just trying to wake up, I guess. It's been a long haul with all the stuff going on, but yeah, doing good.
I can imagine. Are you over in Arizona? Like, are you working in office?
No, I'm home. I live in Idaho, northern Idaho, well, central Idaho. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, time difference is still a problem, but so we're really grateful for you to come on. If it helps at all, I'm more of a night owl than I forgot what the other expression is, like early bird. Is that
You're not an early bird.
Not at all. No. Rick, when was the last time we had you on the podcast? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, I can't remember. I think it's been over a year, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
It had to have been over a year or something.
It's been a while. It's been a hot second. It's been too long. So we're really glad to have you back on the podcast. You got any Christmas plans coming up? Just, spend time with the family?
Yeah, this year we're just staying home and we're not around any extended family. So it's just my 2 girls, my wife, my dog, and us and me, I guess. So yeah, that's it.
Well, someone you haven't been able to talk to in a hot second is Joey Upper. I think we saw each other at Summit, but I don't know when the last time you guys got to speak was. Maybe when we did that podcast episode.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, Joey, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Wrapping up things for the holiday itself. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. Is that literal? Like, are you doing any literal wrapping?
That is going to be Saturday, I think.
Okay.
Because I'm I plan things well. Most of the collection is coming in all at once. So gonna have a little marathon where I watch some very lengthy movie and wrap gifts poorly for hours.
I've never been able to figure out the gift wrapping secret. Uh, some some people just have like an innate knack for being able to do it. Not
Yeah,
me.
my
Um,
wife does. So I always get these beautifully wrapped Christmas gifts, and mine are like, they're embarrassing. It's so bad.
well, I feel bad,
It,
but once I realized that Amazon, when they do deliveries around this time of year, you can do it as a gift.
Mhm.
Um,
well, and how long does wrapping paper actually last, you know? As long as you get one side that looks decent, then you just make that side the side that's popping out underneath the Christmas tree and
That's kind of, yeah, that's, yeah.
this is why we have you on the podcast, Rick, for your years of wisdom that
that's
Joey and
right.
I have yet to achieve.
All right,
Um,
cool.
yeah. Suppose that is the one nice thing about having Christmas on a Monday this year is it does give you the weekend to kind of like get the last minute things together.
It does. God, I'll be using every minute of it.
Mm, mm. And you said you're just staying home this year, right? Like in
That
the
is,
area.
I'm grateful for that. I haven't done that in quite a while.
Well, glad for you, buddy. So this might be a good time to transition into our main topic of discussion, which is the Certificate in Firearms Technology Handgun Specialist new
Yeah.
program with SDI. Rick, do you right off the bat, would you mind giving us like a just a general overview of the course?
Yeah, so the certificate just it's basically 4 courses, 5 weeks each, and 4 credits each course. So a total of 20 credits over the 4 courses. And you take one course at a time. Now we do have a lot of our graduates signing up right now for FTH 202, which is a revolver course. So they've passed kind of out of the first course, which would be an introductory level course. So kind of starting they only if it's a graduate that has that introductory level experience already, they're going to have three courses that they'll be able to do because they've already gotten a credit for the first one. But to break it down, we have our foundations level course, which is FTT 101. That's where we really get into the foundation level understanding that a gunsmith needs to have. So understanding as far as cycle of operations. So those are the 8 steps that a firearm uses to operate properly. And then we get into different operating systems. So gas operated, recoil operated, blowback, manual operated, just different manually operated firearms. So that's our and we get into things like simple machines and very important foundational concepts in that course. So FTT 101, and that's a new course actually. That's developed brand new for this certificate, and so that'll be exciting to see students getting into that course. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have FTH 202, which gets into revolvers, really dives deep into the revolver platform, and then FTH 212, which dives deeper into the striker fired platform. So something like a Glock or other striker fired. And what's the difference between a striker fire or a striker in a firing pin? And what are some of the mechanisms that make those two platforms different or operating systems different? And then lastly, our fourth course would be FTH 223 hammer fired handguns. So this certificate as a whole really gives students a good depth of understanding in handguns. And this is where this certificate comes in handy is for those gunsmiths who really want to specialize in something, right?
So you mentioned sort of like you have a course for revolvers, striker fired pistols, hammer fired pistols, and then you have FTT 101, which is mechanics and firearms.
Yep, mechanics and firearms. That's that foundation level course. Yep.
What's the difference between FTT 100 and FTT 101?
Oh, quite a bit actually. So as far as the differences between FTT 100 and FTT 101, really, FTT 101 took a kind of a different approach. FTT 100 is one of those legacy courses that we've had for quite a while in the program, in our associate and regular certificate program, and it's FTT 101 has taken a different approach on establishing a foundation. So instead of just hopping right into firearms, like I was mentioning earlier, we get into simple machines where we're helping students understand that firearms are a machine. They're a complex machine built off of simple machines, just like any other machine out there, right? Anytime you have any grouping of simple machines, so lever, pulley, yada yada, so a screw, inclined plane, those simple machines, if anytime you have a grouping of them, you have a complex machine, right? Because it's not a simple machine. It's two simple machines or multiple simple machines put together, and you have a complex machine. That's all a firearm is. So that's the approach we take right off the bat with the students, helping them understand those simple machines and how they're incorporated into the firearm helps them become better mechanics of firearms, if that makes sense. They're able to understand the mechanics of a firearm on the deepest level, down to the foundational level, versus students getting out and scratching their heads of like, oh, well, I really just don't understand this concept of how this mechanism is contributing to this malfunction, or how can I improve the performance of this firearm by altering this simple machine or this mechanism. And when they understand the foundational properties or physics behind it, then it makes it a whole lot less scary or intimidating or hard to understand. So that's the different approach that 101 has taken from 100. 100 it dives right into the firearms, and it talks about shop layout and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did mention that students are able to people that have been through our certificate or our associates program already, graduates, if they've taken FTT 100 and FTT 104, which is the hand tools lab, which is a 4-credit lab or 4-week lab, if they've taken both of those and passed them, they can waive the requirement. If they're wanting to get in this handgun specialist, they can waive the requirement for taking FTT 101. Now, I would say that with that said, is FTT 101 is still a great class to take, even if you can waive the requirement for it. I would recommend still taking it because it does have a different approach.
Cool. Thank you for that. And you talked about how you feel like Handgun Specialist, the program as a whole, is good for people that are looking to find, I guess, that specific thing they want to work on.
Yeah, I mean, you have gunsmiths who, I mean, truthfully, and I'm going to be 100% brutally honest right now. You have some platforms like the Glock, for example. You have a lot of people specializing in the Glock that aren't necessarily gunsmiths. The Glocks are very simplistic firearms, but still having a gunsmith understanding gives you an edge. Again, understanding how that works on a deep level. But you have other gunsmiths working on 1911s. They build their whole career around one or two platforms. So it really isn't bad idea to specialize in one platform or a couple platforms, as long as your clientele will support it, right? You have to understand your base of where you're getting your where's your income coming from, you know. And where I live, for example, I'm not going to make a living off of specializing in handguns, because I live in rural Idaho, where most of the guns I've seen are gonna be hunting related. So it's going to be a lot of long guns. And so if I was to specialize in anything, I would most likely at that point be specializing in bolt action rifles, or maybe even the AR platform on the hunting side of it. So anyway, it's just you just have to understand where you are and then base it on that. But specializing in one or two platforms is not necessarily a bad thing. And it really makes you an expert in that platform.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Having said that, in your opinion, how much previous firearms experience should someone have maybe before taking this program?
So it's definitely a standalone certificate to where somebody who doesn't have experience in firearms can roll with it, right? Obviously, that's with them taking FTT 101, like I was talking about, that builds that foundation. So yeah, so it's a standalone certificate. They don't necessarily need to have a whole lot of experience in firearms. Now, with that said, this is going to give you it's going to be a mile deep and an inch wide, maybe, right? So you're not going to become all of a sudden a general gunsmith in a whole lot of other platforms. You're going to know a lot about a little,
Mm-hmm.
which is like I just previously talked about, is okay,
Yeah.
as long as you understand your clientele. Versus our other certificate and our associate program is going to give you a whole lot more understanding as far as a broader spectrum of platforms and operating systems. So,
Joey, I'm going to let you jump in if you have any questions have come to your mind.
I mean, I feel like it's a pretty straightforward program for folks that are trying to make a determination between the regular certificate in firearms technology gunsmithing and the handgun program specifically. You mentioned there being something of a need for like market analysis. You're in a much more rural area, in an area where people hunt a lot. But if you have someone who is kind of brand new to this corner of the world, who is trying to decide which of the two, if wanted to take a first step, and maybe they use that as a launching pad for the ASFT, is one or the other better as a simply introductory course of study, or do you think that one is going to make more sense?
so Joey, to answer your question, it's hard. It's hard for me to say. I think that both would be a good launching point. Now, what I do have to say is the problem with launching with the handgun specialist into the associates program is that FTT 101 is a 4-credit class versus if you take FTT 100 and FTT 104, that's 5 credits right there. So FTT, because of that, FTT 101 cannot satisfy the requirement for FTT 100 and 104. So you'd end up having to still take those courses.
Gotcha.
Versus
Yeah.
the other way around, if you take 100 and 104 into regular certificate or associates, you can satisfy 101 just because of that credit hour problem. It's not to say that one route is better than the other necessarily. It's just because we run into some sticky situations with the credit. So that's the only reason I would say that I would prefer students to launch into the regular certificate or associates. But really, I mean, they could launch into they could do it either way. There's really no preference other than that one credit hour problem. So hope that helped.
Yeah, it does. I think that's great. And I think that's good info for folks that are hanging out at the surface level, trying to plan that stuff out. The logistics of figuring out credit hours is always fun when you're on the outside looking in. So I'm currently in grad school and navigating something very similar. So
Yeah.
that's why it
Yep.
occurred to me to ask. But other than that, really, in terms of questions, I don't think I have too much. It's a very straightforward course of study. The handgun program has been talked about since long before I left working at SDI full time. So it is awesome to see that finally kind of be manifest.
It is ready. It is ready to go. It needs to go. It needs to get out there in the world. And we've had, it's popular. I don't know what we're standing at right now as far as enrollees, but man, we've had to have open up quite a few sections of the course of that, at least FTH 202, which is kind of the launching point for if for our graduates who have already graduated from the regular certificate or associates. But I mean, it's pretty popular.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Joey, you bringing that up actually brings up another question I have. With this having been in works for a while, can you talk a little bit about where the idea came to create this program and what you guys saw, on your end? That you guys decided, yes, we need to go forward and we need to create this handgun specialist program.
Man, this predates me. It predates this idea predates me. It predates Jared McNeely, one of my direct managers. I'm pretty sure it actually comes from your manager, Jennifer McInnes.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's kind of the one that brainstormed at least having some specialist courses that are offset from our regular course offerings. So, but yeah, I mean, I came on to when I came on to the curriculum side of the house, because prior to that I was faculty on the faculty side. But when I came on to the curriculum side, this was my first project to develop these courses. And it was in the works, I think, 2 years prior to that. So it's been 4 years that we've been thinking and brainstorming and thinking what needs to be accomplished in these courses. So really a lot of thought. Is there room for improvement? There always will be, 100%. But we're committed to improving continually. But yeah, a lot of thought has gone into it for quite a few years now.
Very interesting. Thank you for that, Rick. I suppose I can ask you about one thing that we all enjoy talking about, and that's tuition. I remember just tell me if this sounds right. When we were talking about Summit, I heard about $500 per credit hour.
It sounds about right. I can't exactly remember. I'd have to pull up my PowerPoint, but
Hmm.
anyway, yeah, somebody in the finance team would be better suited to speak to that, but that sounds about right.
Okay.
And you have to think about what you're getting with that money. I mean that's 3 handguns you're getting out of this course, plus any of the tools or equipment that you're getting out of FTT 101. I mean, you're getting, as a student, the student is getting quite a hefty load of things.
Hmm.
Currently, right now, we're sending out the 856 Taurus revolver. We're sending out the PSA dagger, and then for the striker fired course, and then for the hammer fired course, we're sending out the SAR B6 and the CZ75, depending on whether or not a student's in California or not. And that's subject to change, but
For sure.
those are good firearms. So I mean, they're not getting garbage.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that it is subject to change. Like stuff happens, supply stuff happens, but that is really cool. And of course, if you want to see like a whole list of tools and equipment that you'll be getting from each of these courses, even if you're looking at some of the other courses and the other programs, it is on our website. All you have to do is go to sdi.edu/current students/lab tools, and you can find out more information there. And of course, if you want to find out more information about this program too, if you just want to refresh on, well, gee, I can't remember how many credit hours is it, or how long is it, what courses are involved. It is all on our website. You can go to sdi.edu, go to academics tab, and under there you'll see certificate in firearms technology handgun specialist. Has a lot of information there, and of course you can always just call. Don't be afraid to contact SDI. Send an email. Admissions. They have a phone number. So if you do have questions that we weren't able to get to today, you can reach out, and we will do the best we can to answer those questions.
Andrew, I may need to correct myself because I think I said something wrong earlier. I don't know. You'll have to go back into the recording later and see if I said this wrong. But I think I said that they get 20 credits because anyway, it's 16 credits. It's 4 courses, and it's 4 credits each. It's 20 weeks long. I don't know if I said the right thing. Anyway, four credits each course, four courses total. And then, so yeah, 16 credits, and then 20 weeks is how long they would be taking the courses.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I don't know. There were too many numbers
Oh,
going around in my head. So
oh, no worries, no worries. I'm glad you caught that though.
yeah.
So Joey, no more questions on your end?
No, I don't think so. I'm so happy that this is up and running, and I know this is going to be a very successful program for the school. So I'm excited for this opportunity for SDI and for the students.
One more plug I could put in, Andrew, is just the amount of depth. Like the assignments that have been built into these courses give the students a whole lot of working knowledge with the internal components of the firearms. So, for example, the revolver, they're going to be putting that thing together, taking it apart, putting it together, taking it apart, putting it together, taking it apart. I mean, they're going to know those pieces in there real in depth, and that's going to happen in the other courses as well. And then the knowledge they gain from those platforms they'll be able to use their understanding again of the simple machines, the mechanisms behind those platforms, and then see similarities in other operating systems, other platforms that will give them a good foundation to become a great gunsmith.
Well, I like the way you put it earlier, with the, what was it, like, with it being very specialized, you said, I think something to extent of like inches wide, but like miles deep.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool way of explaining it. Rick, thank you so much for coming on
No
to the
problem.
podcast. We always love having you, and it's great to see you, man.
Yeah, good seeing you too.
And so, folks, that has been this episode of the Gun Rack. Again, we hope you have a lovely holiday season, and we will catch you on the flip side. So, Joey, you want to take us out?
Yep. Have fun. Stay safe out there, and we will see you at the range.
Sonoran Desert Institute is an online school accredited by the DEAC. It is headquartered at 1555 West University Drive in Tempe, Arizona. For more information about how you can craft your firearms future, visit sdi.edu.